There's a sacred law woven into the fabric of all creation, a silent knowing that the universe responds not to what we say, not to what we wish, but to what we are. And so to manifest miracles is not to plead with the heavens or to conquer the world with strategy. It is to attune your being to the frequency of the divine and to become the vibration of that which you seek. The secret ingredient is not effort, it is alignment. You were never meant to strive your way into blessings. You were meant to remember that you are the blessing. The miracle you wait for is not locked behind a distant sky or earned through some secret ritual. It is released the moment you return to your essence. And your essence is not lack or fear or doubt. Your essence is light. It is awareness. It is love expressing itself through the experience of being you. When you think of miracles, you may picture dramatic shifts, sudden windfalls, inexplicable healings. But miracles are not interruptions in the laws of the universe. They are the laws remembered. They are the natural outcome of living in harmony with your truest nature. The seed doesn't need to strive to become the tree. It unfolds, it allows, it trusts, and so too must you. The ego will tell you that you must control every detail, that you must micromanage the divine, that your worth must be proven before life blesses you. But the soul knows better. The soul knows that the river does not force its way forward, it flows, it moves with grace. And when you stop pushing, when you stop resisting the moment as it is, you begin to move with life rather than against it. And in that movement, miracles happen not by demand, but by design. Let go of the idea that you must fix yourself to deserve goodness. The oak tree does not ask the wind if it's worthy to sway. The ocean does not beg the moon for permission to rise. You, in your barest form, without your masks, without your striving, are already enough. You are already whole. And it is from this place of wholeness that miracles are born. The universe does not speak in words. It speaks in energy. It speaks in frequency. If you radiate fear, it responds with experiences that mirror that fear. But if you embody love, if you become peace, if you trust the unseen current that carries all things, then the world begins to reshape itself around you. You do not need to chase abundance. You need to become the space through which abundance flows. You do not need to force healing. You need to become so present that healing has no choice but to arise. The secret ingredient is not outside of you. It is your vibration, your openness, your surrender to the intelligence that breathes your lungs and orchestrates stars. This is not about being passive. It is about being powerful in a new way. The caterpillar does not climb into the cocoon and make a to-do list. It surrenders, it dissolves, it trusts the process it cannot see, and in that trust, it becomes something new, something more free, something more true. You are not here to hustle your way to divinity. You are here to remember that you are already divine. You are not a beggar at the gate of the cosmos. You are the gate. You are the cosmos expressing itself in form. The moment you stop pretending to be small, life rushes in to support your expansion. What blocks miracles is not circumstance, it is resistance. It is the belief that you are separate, unworthy, disconnected. But no wave is ever separate from the ocean. No ray of light is exiled from the sunday. You are not apart from the source, you are made of it. And when you align with this truth, not in theory, but in your body, in your breath, in your being, something ancient reawakens. You begin to feel the rhythm that was always there, the quiet hum beneath the chaos. You begin to see the signs not as coincidences, but as confirmations. You stop asking for proof and start becoming the evidence. You see, the greatest miracle is not the change in the world, it is the change in your perception. When you stop viewing life as something happening to you and start seeing it as something happening through you, the entire landscape shifts. Obstacles become teachers, delays become redirections, pain becomes a portal. The secret ingredient to manifest miracles is remembrance. Remembrance of who you truly are. Remembrance that you are not a body with a soul. You are a soul expressing itself through a body. Remembrance that what you seek is not separate from you. It is you. Love is not a visitor. It is your natural state. Abundance is not something you acquire. It is what flows when you stop blocking the flow. And how do you unblock the flow? By getting still, by getting quiet, by choosing presence over panic, by trusting that your life is not random, that your desires are not mistakes, that the thing within you whispering for more is not greed, it is guidance. But guidance does not shout. It does not argue with your ego. It waits patiently, lovingly, for the moment you become still enough to listen. Stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the presence of awareness. And from awareness, you create. Not from force, not from fear, but from truth. And truth has a frequency. It calls to life with a clarity that cannot be denied. It is not about begging the universe to deliver it. It is about becoming so attuned to your inner world that the outer world must match it. You are not manifesting from a place of lack. You are revealing what has always been yours. The tree does not ask the soil for permission to grow. It simply roots deeper. And you, dear soul, are being asked to root not into doing, but into being, into presence, into the quiet, knowing that all you desire is already here in potential form, waiting for you to stop trying to earn it and simply allow it. Faith is the fuel of miracles, not blind faith, not naive optimism, but the kind of faith that arises when you know deeply that the same force that turns embryos into hearts and seeds into forests is orchestrating your life, that nothing is missing, that every delay, every detour is a divine recalibration. This is not spiritual theory, this is truth, and truth is felt, so feel it. Feel the miracle of your breath, the intelligence of your heartbeat, the fact that your very existence defies logic and yet makes perfect sense to the divine. You don't need more time. You don't need better circumstances. You need only to align with love, align with presence, align with trust. And when you do, life responds not because you finally become worthy, but because you finally remembered that you always were. The secret ingredient to manifest miracles is not found in a book or a seminar or a strategy. It is found in the silent, sacred space within you that has never been touched by fear, never been broken by life, never been separate from source. Return to that space, dwell in that space, live from that space. And miracles will not just visit you, they will recognize you as home. And when you awaken each day with this awareness, when you rise not in panic but in presence, you become a conduit for grace. You no longer seek for life to prove something to you. You begin to live as if life is for you, because it is. Every sunrise, every breath, every heartbeat is a sacred affirmation that the universe is not indifferent to your existence. It is conspiring with you, not against you. The mind shaped by years of conditioning will try to pull you back into striving. It will whisper of limitations. It will replay past failures. It will analyze, dissect, and demand guarantees. But the soul does not barter in guarantees. The soul is a silent flame that burns through all doubt, not by arguing with it, but by illuminating it. And once seen in the light of truth, doubt dissolves, not through force, but through clarity. This clarity is your compass. It will not map out every step, but it will whisper this way. And that whisper, subtle yet unmistakable, is worth more than 1,000 plans built on fear. To follow it is to say yes to a life that unfolds in divine timing, not human deadlines. To follow it is to live as if the miracle has already happened, and to act from that knowing, not from desperation. Faith then becomes not a crutch, but a way of seeing, a way of breathing, a way of showing up in the world with open hands and a softened heart. And in this softness, you become magnetic, not in the way of grasping, but in the way of allowing. Miracles do not rush into clenched fists. They flow to open palms, to relaxed shoulders, to the eyes that see beauty even before the evidence arrives. What you call coincidence is the universe in motion. What you call serendipity is alignment made visible. You were never meant to figure it all out. You were meant to feel your way into truth. The intellect has its place, but it is the heart that holds the blueprint of the life you were born to live. And every time you quiet the noise and return to the rhythm of your breath, you realign with that sacred design. There's no need to panic when the path disappears. Sometimes the path must vanish so that you will stop following the map of the world and begin following the map within. Sometimes what looks like failure is the exact doorway into the miracle. Sometimes the falling apart is not the end. It is the sacred reordering of things long overdue for transformation. You are not here to repeat the old stories of limitation. You are here to remember that you are the author. And the pen, dear soul, has always been in your hand. Every word you speak, every thought you dwell in, every belief you cling to is an instruction to the universe. So ask yourself, not what you want, but who you are willing to become to receive it. If you want to manifest love, become love. If you want to manifest peace, become peace. If you want to manifest abundance, become the presence that knows lack is an illusion. This becoming is not performance, it is remembrance. You are not here to be impressive. You are here to be expressive. To let the light that has always burned inside you finally reach the surface. The secret ingredient is not action alone, it is aligned action. It is the kind of doing that flows from being, the kind of movement that is not rushed by fear but guided by inner knowing. When you act from this space, even the smallest step ripples with divine momentum. Even a whisper can become a revolution when it is spoken from the soul. Do not wait until everything feels perfect. Perfection is not the requirement, presence is. Start now with what you have, where you are. The miracle doesn't require more of you. It requires more of the real you, the you that is not masked by doubt, not diluted by societal roles, not drowned by old wounds. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far behind. The universe is not operating on your clock. It is operating on your alignment. When you align, time bends, paths open, people arrive. The thing you thought would take years happens in a moment because you finally stopped trying to make it happen from your mind and began allowing it from your soul. This is not magic. It is law. The law of resonance, the law of oneness, the law that says, as within, so without. You cannot fake alignment. The universe responds not to your words, but to your frequency. So be honest, be raw, be willing to sit with what is in order to reach what can be. There is no bypass to the miracle. There is only the path through, but it is a path lined with grace. Even your doubts are sacred. Even your tears are seeds. Even your silence is a sanctuary. You do not need to push away your pain to manifest your joy. You only need to hold both with the same love. You only need to stop resisting the parts of yourself that you have judged as unworthy. Because nothing within you is unworthy. Nothing within you is beyond redemption. The miracle is not the escape from your humanity. It is the embrace of it. God does not require your perfection. God only asks for your presence, your openness, your yes. And that yes can be as simple as a breath taken in faith, a prayer whispered in doubt, a step taken without clarity, but with courage. This is the soil in which miracles are born. Not certainty, not perfection, but openness. And when you live from this openness, not as a fleeting practice, but as a way of being, you begin to witness how life conspires in your favor in ways far more poetic than your plans could ever design. The delays that once filled you with dread now unfold as divine orchestration. The rejections that once stung like betrayal now glow with the light of protection. Because when you are open, your eyes begin to see through the veil, and what was once chaos becomes clarity. You see, miracles do not respond to timelines, they respond to surrender. And surrender is not a giving up, it is a rising up into trust. It is the releasing of the illusion that you must know every outcome, that you must manipulate every detail, that your worth is proven through control. The seed does not know the structure of the tree, yet it becomes one. You do not need to know the outcome. You only need to be rooted in the truth of who you are, and the rest will grow from there. The truth is, the miracle is not in the manifestation of the thing. It is in who you become as you align with it. It is in the shedding of old beliefs, the softening of your heart, the clearing of your inner space, because when the vessel is clear, the light rushes in. And what you once chased begins to arrive, not as a conquest, but as a reflection. You become like the sun, not striving to shine, not asking for permission, just being what you are. And in that being, the world bends toward your light. Not because you demanded it, but because you became the truth of it. This is the secret the sages have whispered through the ages. You are not separate from the miracle. You are the miracle remembering itself. The Tao does not try, it flows. Jesus did not convince, he embodied. Rumi did not chase, he danced. And you too are being invited into this holy remembering, to stop resisting your divinity, to stop hiding behind the veil of unworthiness, to stop treating life as a battle and begin receiving it as a blessing. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to be. And in your being, there is healing. In your presence, there is power. In your truth, there is transformation. The more you align with your soul, the less you need the world to agree. The applause fades. The need for validation dissolves. Because your fulfillment is no longer tethered to outside outcomes, it is sourced from within. This is the kind of peace that cannot be stolen. This is the kind of joy that dances, even in the rain. This is the kind of power that cannot be measured in titles or achievements, but is felt in your quiet certainty. Certainty not in the plan, but in the presence. Certainty not in control, but in connection. Certainty not in outcome, but in essence. This is where miracles live in essence. In the frequency you hold, the love you extend, the breath you take in reverence. And the more you live from this place, the more you discover that the miracle was never about getting more, it was about realizing you already have everything. You already are everything. Let that truth settle into your bones. Let it echo through your doubts. Let it soften your striving. You do not need to be more spiritual to manifest. You need to be more you. The you that is uncloaked, unchained, unashamed. The you that trusts without needing to know why. The you that breathes deeper, speaks slower, and moves with the rhythm of something sacred. And when fear returns, as it will, greet it as a guest, not a master. Let it come. Let it go. But do not give it the throne. Your throne belongs to something greater, something timeless, something that whispers through the silence and moves you from the inside out. That something is your true self. The part of you that does not waver when circumstances shake. The part that does not crumble under pressure. The part that knows, even when the mind forgets, that you are held, guided, and deeply loved. That love is not earned, it is not conditional, it is not performance-based, it is your inheritance. And every time you return to it, you unlock the flow of miracles, not because you forced the door open, but because you remembered that the door never existed. You were never locked out. You were only asleep to your own divinity. And now you are waking up. And as you awaken, you do not become someone new. You become who you've always been beneath the noise. The veils of fear fall away. The layers of self-doubt peel back. And what remains is not a version of you crafted by the world, but the pure essence that existed before the world told you who to be. That essence is still here, untouched by time, unscarred by experience, waiting patiently for your return. This return is not a journey of distance. It is a journey of remembrance. Every step is not towards something out there, but inward into the sanctuary of your own being. And in that sanctuary, miracles are not rare events. They are the natural outcome of living in alignment with what is real. The moment you drop the masks, the universe meets you with truth. The moment you stop pretending, grace rushes in. The moment you say yes to presence, the miraculous becomes ordinary. You see, it was never about becoming better. It was about becoming real. Real with your fear. Real with your desires. Real with the longing you've tried to silence. Because that longing is not a flaw, it is sacred. It is the soul's way of calling you home. The ache you feel is not a sign of lack, it is the echo of what is already present, already possible, already yours in the invisible. Do not ignore that ache. Let it guide you, not control you. Let it speak, not scream. Let it rise, not overwhelm. Because within the ache is the seed of your becoming. The soul whispers in desire. The divine moves through longing. Not to torment you, but to draw you deeper into who you really are. And who you are is not an accident. You are not here by chance. You are not random dust arranged in temporary form. You are a deliberate expression of the infinite, shaped by love, sustained by presence, guided by wisdom. And this wisdom, this sacred intelligence speaks through your intuition. Through the gentle nudge, the quiet knowing, the pull towards something greater. It does not need logic to be valid. It does not require approval to be true. Trust it, not blindly but reverently, as you would trust the river to find its way to the ocean or the dawn to follow the darkest night, because your soul knows the way, always has. And the more you trust it, the more you find yourself in the right places at the right times without needing to control how you got there. This is the path of alignment, not a straight line, but a spiral of returning. Returning to trust, returning to truth. Returning to the knowing that you are not separate from the source of all things, you are an extension of it. When you remember this, your energy shifts. And when your energy shifts, everything shifts. People notice without knowing why. Doors open without you knocking. The world responds not to your hustle, but to your harmony. And harmony does not mean ease. It means resonance. It means you are no longer in conflict with your own being. You are no longer betraying your soul for approval. You are no longer dimming your light for comfort. You are living in truth. And that truth creates a field in which miracles move freely, a field in which love flows abundantly, a field in which what you desire is no longer chased but welcomed. This is the secret ingredient, your inner state, not the right technique, not the perfect affirmation, but your vibration, the tone of your inner song. And that tone is tuned every time you return to the present, every time you choose trust over fear, every time you act not from lack, but from love. And love, dear soul, is your nature. It is not something to get. It is what you are when you stop pretending, when you stop resisting, when you simply let yourself be. Do you feel it now? That soft stirring beneath the surface? That sacred pull toward truth? That is the miracle already taking shape, not outside, but within. Then let us keep walking the path, not with urgency, but with reverence. For this is not a race to the miraculous, but a remembering that the miraculous was never missing. It was only obscured by our forgetting, by the fog of doing, of proving, of endlessly striving to be what we already are. You don't manifest by becoming something else. You manifest by becoming honest, deeply, radically honest. Honest about what you love, honest about what drains you, honest about what you've outgrown and what your soul still longs to grow into. The universe cannot respond to the false. It resonates only with what is real. And so, the moment you stop performing and start feeling, the current of grace finds you. And when it finds you, it moves you gently, but unmistakably. It aligns your steps without force. It connects you with those who see the truth in you. It draws opportunities to your feet, not because you demanded them, but because you prepared your inner soil for their arrival. You became the kind of being who could hold the miracle, not just receive it, but embody it. And here is the deeper truth. The miracle is not the thing. It's the you that arises in the presence of the thing. It's the expansion of your consciousness, the opening of your heart, the surrender of your old self to the emergence of something more aligned, more whole, more real. Do not mistake manifestation for acquisition. You can possess the world and still feel hollow. But when you live from your soul, even the simplest life becomes sacred. Even the ordinary becomes infused with wonder. You begin to see that everything, every leaf, every stranger's smile, every silence between words is drenched in divinity. Because you have changed the lens, you have cleared the mirror. And now, everywhere you look, you see reflections of your inner state. This is the miracle. Not that life suddenly improves, but that you see life clearly, that your eyes, unclouded by fear, begin to recognize the beauty that was always here, that your heart, no longer armored by past wounds, begins to receive what it once pushed away, that your soul, no longer buried beneath layers of expectation, begins to sing again. And when you sing not with your voice, but with your energy, life sings back. It harmonizes with you. It celebrates you. It rushes to meet you in the same frequency you've dared to inhabit. So dare to inhabit joy. Dare to dwell in peace. Dare to live in the vibration of gratitude before the evidence appears. Because when you become the space for miracles, miracles come not to complete you, but to echo you. And when they come, you'll recognize them, not by their form, but by their feeling. They will feel like home, like truth, like the inevitable arrival of something you stopped chasing and started becoming. So do not wait. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for all fears to subside. Do not wait until the world gives you permission to shine. Shine now. Radiate now. Live now as if the miracle has already occurred, because in a higher reality it has. Time is not linear in the soul's world. The moment you align, the miracle becomes inevitable. You don't need to force it. You don't need to beg for it. You only need to receive it. And to receive, you must believe not in theory, but in the marrow of your being, that you are already enough, already worthy, already one with the source from which all miracles flow. Then let us bring this unfolding not to an end, but to its soft, sacred crescendo, not as a conclusion, but as a return to the stillness that has cradled this entire journey, a return to the breath, a return to the source, For the secret ingredient to manifest miracles was never a technique, a word, a secret code. It was this: your remembrance. Remembrance that you are not separate. Remembrance that you are not waiting for miracles, they are waiting for you. Remembrance that the divine has always dwelled not in some distant heaven, but in the temple of your own soul, whispering not in thunder, but in quiet knowing. And now, not with your intellect alone, but with your whole being, you have felt the truth rise through the layers. You have seen that the path to miracles is not built with struggle, it is unveiled through surrender. And that surrender is not weakness, it is the greatest strength there is. For only the truly powerful can let go. Only the truly rooted can trust. Only the truly awakened can become still and allow. You do not need to earn the miracle. You do not need to chase it. You need only to dissolve what says you are not already living it. For the moment you breathe in this truth and exhale all doubt, the world shifts, not because the outer world has changed, but because your gaze has returned to its original clarity. The clarity that sees God in every petal, every shadow, every breath. The clarity that no longer asks, where is the miracle, but proclaims, I am the miracle. And from this proclamation, silently spoken in your energy, life rearranges. Not always in ways you can predict, but always in ways that reflect your essence. For the universe is not responding to what you want, it is responding to who you are being. And when you are being love, being light, being presence itself, the world must respond with its own reflection of that truth. So let this be your new state, not a peak moment, not a temporary awakening, but your homecoming. Live from this state, speak from this state, give from this state, create from this state. And if ever you forget, as we all do, return. Return gently. Without shame, without judgment, just return. For the sacred has not moved, the miracle has not left. It is still here, right now, as close as your next breath, as near as your own heartbeat. And this, beloved soul, is the final truth. The miracle was never outside you. It is not something to attract. It is not something to earn. It is what happens naturally when you are aligned with what is eternal in you. You are not here to force miracles into being. You are here to embody the frequency from which they flow. And when you do, life becomes a living prayer. Your existence becomes a light for others. Your every step becomes an invitation for the universe to dance. And that dance is the miracle itself. Now go, not to strive, not to seek, but to shine, to be, to live as the miracle you already are. And as you do, miracles will follow, not because you chased them, but because you finally remembered you were never separate. You were never lacking. You were always the secret ingredient. And now, there is a quiet truth, ancient and luminous, that sits in the center of your being, waiting not to be found, but to be felt. It whispers through the silence, beneath every desire, every longing, every restless movement of the heart. You are already connected to what you seek. We have been taught to believe that we must reach, grasp, strive, that what we desire is out there, separate, distant, withheld, until we prove ourselves worthy. But this is the grand illusion, the veil that keeps us running in circles while the treasure lies buried within the space of our own soul. Desire itself is not the problem. Desire is sacred. It is the movement of life through you, the echo of source calling you to remember your creative power. But it is only when desire becomes a declaration of lack that it turns into suffering. You do not attract what you chase in desperation. You attract what you are. The Tao Te Ching tells us, the more you chase after it, the more it eludes you. And so we must reverse the direction of our seeking, not outward toward outcomes, but inward toward essence. The most powerful way to attract what you desire is not to demand it from the universe, but to align with it. To become so attuned to the frequency of your desire that you and it are indistinguishable. You do not need to force the flower to bloom. You only need to become the fertile ground in which blooming is inevitable. And so the work is not in the world. The work is in the inner space. The work is to remember that your energy, your intention, your vibration, your presence is the prayer that life answers. The universe responds not to your words, but to your being. If you want love, become love. If you want peace, be peace. If you want abundance, walk in the awareness that you are already sourced by the infinite. Do not beg life to give you what you already carry. Instead, live from the truth that it is already done, already here, already within. This is not about pretending, it is about remembering. You are not a beggar before the divine, you are an emanation of it. You are not a fragmented soul hoping to be completed. You are wholeness in motion, disguised in human form for a brief, beautiful moment. The ego will always speak in terms of scarcity. I need this to be happy. I must have that to feel enough. But the soul speaks in stillness. I am already home. I am already whole. I am already one with all that is. And from that wholeness you attract effortlessly, not by grasping, not by pleading, but by radiating. Just as the sun does not try to shine, it simply is you too must become the light you seek. This is the sacred reversal. This is the divine paradox. When you no longer need your desire to make you feel whole, it flows to you with grace. When you release your grip on the outcome begins to dance its way toward you, unforced and unresisted. You were never meant to chase the river. You were meant to flow with it. So ask yourself gently and honestly, what is the feeling I believe this desire will give me? And then be that feeling now, not through imagination, but through embodiment. Feel it in your breath. Speak it in your words. Move with it in your body. Live it as if it were already true, because in the higher planes of consciousness, it already is. You see, manifestation is not magic. It is law, spiritual law. You become what you dwell upon. You magnetize not what you want, but what you are. The universe does not respond to need, it responds to alignment. This is why healing is not optional. Until you heal the part of you that believes you are unworthy, undeserving, disconnected, you will keep chasing desires from a place of fear, not from a place of creation. But when you remember your divinity, when you return to the sacred awareness that you are already one with Source, you become a clear channel through which life can pour itself into form. You stop pleading and you start allowing. You stop striving and you start trusting. And in that trust, all things are added unto you. Not because you earned them through struggle, but because you aligned with the truth of who you are, a creator, not a victim, a vessel of love, not a seeker of scraps, a field of infinite possibility, not a prisoner of circumstance. Jesus said, ask believing that you have already received, and it will be yours. This is not metaphor, this is energetic truth. When you embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you collapse time. You bring the end into the now. You create a resonance that calls your desire home. But how can you believe you've received when the world tells you it's not yet here? You must become still, still enough to hear the voice beneath the noise, still enough to feel the hum of your being beyond the opinions of others, still enough to know that you are not the appearance, you are the essence. You are not the lack, you are the light. You are not separate from what you want. You are the field in which it is meant to arise. This is why gratitude is so powerful, not as a ritual, but as a state. When you dwell in the vibration of gratitude, you declare to the universe, I trust, I believe, I know it is already done. And the universe, ever obedient to the frequencies of the heart, responds accordingly. Stop waiting for evidence. Be the evidence. Stop asking if it's possible. Be the possibility embodied. Stop doubting the path. Walk it. Walk as if the answer is already yes. Speak as if you are already heard. Love as if the outcome no longer matters. This is the shift from ego to essence, from fear to faith, from lack to abundance. And when you live in this way, your desires become not burdens, but blessings. Not chains, but channels. They guide you not away from your wholeness, but deeper into it. Every true desire is the voice of God within you, calling you home. But you must learn to listen not to the shouting of the world, but to the whisper of the soul. And the soul will always say, you are already enough. You are already free. You are already that which you seek. So let go. Let go of the need to prove, to earn, to chase. Let go of the belief that you are incomplete. Let go of the illusion that your worth is tied to outcomes. And in that letting go, you create space. Space for grace to move, space for the unseen to become seen, space for the infinite to flow into the finite. You are not here to struggle your way to joy. You are here to remember that joy is your natural state. You are not here to compete for love. You are here to be love. You are not here to search for truth. You are here to embody it. And from this place of sacred embodiment, all that is meant for you will come. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. And that is the most powerful way to attract what you desire. And so you breathe, not to survive, but to awaken. You breathe to enter the temple of the present, where the sacred resides not in things, but in being. For every breath is a bridge connecting the visible to the invisible, the form to the formless, the human to the divine. When you breathe consciously, you are no longer separate from life. You become its pulse, its rhythm, its living prayer. This is not a technique. It is a remembering, a return to what the trees have always known, to what the rivers have always whispered, that there is no striving in alignment. There is no rush in truth. The acorn does not chase the oak. It surrenders to its becoming. And so must you. Not by adding more to yourself, but by shedding the noise that was never yours to carry. You were not born to wear the heavy garments of other people's expectations. You were not sculpted by spirit to walk hunched beneath the burden of not enough. No, beloved soul, you were born naked in truth, wrapped in the light of being, and the world was your mirror until you forgot to see yourself in it. But forgetting is not failure. Forgetting is part of the sacred rhythm, the ebb before the flow, the silence before the song. Even the sun disappears so it can rise anew. Even the stars are hidden in daylight, though they are never gone. So to your power. It may feel hidden beneath years of fear, beneath layers of identity, beneath masks you've worn so long they felt like skin. But power, true power, is never lost. It waits. Silently, lovingly, within you. And to reclaim it, you must stop searching for it in the applause, in the approval, in the accumulation of things. You must dare to be still long enough to hear what cannot be spoken, to see what cannot be touched. Stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness without form. It is where the soul lives when the world grows loud. And when you drop beneath the noise, when you soften the grip of thought and melt into the present moment, you do not become less, you become infinite. For in that space you remember, you are not the doer, you are the instrument. And life is the music. Do you not see? Your desires are not personal whims. They are seeds planted by the infinite, and your surrender is the sunlight that brings them to life. Your trust is the water. Your alignment is the soil, but you cannot force a seed to bloom through fear. You cannot birth abundance from a place of grasping. You cannot welcome miracles while clinging to control. Release is not giving up, it is giving over, giving your small self back to the vastness it came from. It is letting go of your timetable so that you may enter into divine timing, which is never late, never early, and always right on time for the unfolding of your highest good. The mind will resist this. It will protest with its timelines and its measurements. It will say, show me results. But the soul has no use for clocks or calendars. The soul only knows this moment, this breath, this eternal now. And so the invitation is not to plan more, but to trust deeper. Not to push harder, but to allow more completely. Not to figure it all out, but to fall into the arms of the mystery and let it carry you. Because when you finally let go of needing to know, something miraculous happens. You are guided by a wisdom far greater than intellect. You are moved by the current of the Tao, by the flow of divine intelligence that spins planets and forms galaxies, and that same intelligence lives in you. It is not somewhere else. It is not reserved for the chosen. It is the essence of your very breath, the light behind your eyes, the silence that has watched every rise and fall of your story without judgment. You are never truly alone. You are never truly separate. You are never truly lacking. You are the presence in which all things arise. And from that presence, life responds to you, not based on your fear, but based on your frequency. You do not attract what you pretend to be. You attract what your being radiates. And so let your being speak now, not through words, but through vibration. Let your presence say, I am ready. Let your stillness say, I trust. Let your surrender say, it is already done. Because it is. Everything you desire already exists in a dimension that your faith unlocks. Not faith in a concept, but faith in your oneness with all things. When you live from that oneness, there is nothing to attain, only everything to express. You become a vessel through which peace moves, through which love dances, through which abundance flows without fear of depletion. This is the true power of attraction, not the magnet of want, but the radiance of being. And that radiance is already in you. You do not have to rush. The soul never hurries. There is nothing urgent in the divine rhythm of becoming. Even the stars do not burn with haste, they shine, because it is their nature. And you too, when you release the grasping, will shine not because you try, but because you are. You are the answer wrapped in skin, the prayer that was never spoken but always felt, the embodiment of a timeless yes echoing through the cosmos. The most powerful way to attract what you desire is to stop running toward it and instead turn inward and recognize yourself as the one it was seeking all along. Desire is the soul speaking in its native tongue. But when filtered through the mind's fear, it becomes distortion. The mind will tell you that you must earn it, prove it, chase it. But the soul whispers, become it and it shall come. Can you hear the difference? One leads to exhaustion. The other leads to revelation. And it is in this revelation that you are already one with all that is beautiful, true, and needed, that attraction becomes inevitable. You become the lighthouse rather than the searchlight. You no longer cry out for your dreams, you receive them as old friends arriving at last. There is a sacred geometry to this, a divine symmetry. When your inner world aligns with truth, the outer world reflects that truth in form. But to live in that symmetry, you must trust the unseen as more real than the seen. This requires courage, not the kind that fights, but the kind that surrenders. The courage to wait without anxiety, to walk without knowing, to rest when the world says run. To be who you are when no one is watching and still know that you are enough. There will be days when the evidence disappears, when doubt thickens like fog, when silence feels like absence. But let that silence deepen your listening. Let it teach you to feel beyond hearing, to see without sight, to know without proof. Because the universe is not ignoring you, it is preparing you, molding you into the shape of what you asked for, stretching you so that when the blessing arrives, you will not shrink in its presence. And so you must become worthy not in action, but in awareness, not by climbing higher, but by sinking deeper into who you are. You are not here to perform worthiness. You are here to remember that you were born of love, for love into love. And from love, all things flow. So bless your desire not as a gap, but as guidance, not as something missing, but as something moving you back to the remembrance of who you truly are. Do not diminish your longings. They are not weakness. They are the winds that carry you into expansion. But let those winds be sacred. Let them come not from the hurricane of lack, but from the soft breeze of truth whispering, you are ready now. Ready not to take, but to receive. Ready not to convince, but to allow. Ready not to manifest from strain, but from surrender. The old way was effort. The new way is embodiment. And embodiment begins the moment you stop treating your desires as distant and begin living as if they are already part of you. Not because you are delusional, but because you are divine. And the divine does not chase, it expresses. So express now. Express the love you crave. Express the abundance you seek. Express the peace you long for. Let it pour through your voice, your silence, your gaze, your touch. Let your life become the answer to your own deepest yearning. Because this is the secret the sages knew, the truth the mystics lived, the way the masters walked. What you desire is not something you attract by reaching outward. It is something you magnetize by coming home to yourself. And so we keep walking barefoot through the sacred landscape of your becoming, not toward a destination, but toward a deeper embodiment of the truth that has always lived within you. You see, when you no longer separate yourself from what you seek, you cease to be a seeker and become a vessel. The vessel does not pursue the water it opens to receive it. The flower does not command the sun, it turns its face toward the light, trusting the warmth will come. And you too must become receptive, not passive, but available. This availability is not weakness. It is the most courageous thing a soul can do in a world built on striving. To say, I am here, I am open. I trust the timing of the stars and the wisdom of the soil. This is the posture of one who has remembered their origin. You were not born from chaos. You were born from sacred intention. The very atoms in your body were once inside stars. The same intelligence that orchestrates the movement of galaxies beats your heart. This isn't poetry, it is physics. And yet, it is poetry too, because the universe is not just structured with law, but saturated with beauty. Your desires are not accidents. They are coordinates in the cosmic dance. They are not random, they are revelations. Each one a thread pulling you deeper into the tapestry of your becoming, but only when you stop trying to own them and begin to honor them. To honor a desire is to no longer worship it as your savior. It is to kneel before it, not in desperation, but in reverence. It is to say, thank you for revealing to me what I am ready to embody. Thank you for showing me who I must become in order to receive you fully. Because the receiving is never about the thing, it is about the transformation. The path is not given to you so you may arrive somewhere new. It is given to you so you may become someone deeper. And often the desire is delayed not because you are unworthy, but because you are sacred. Because life knows that to hand you the fullness too soon would be to place a flame in hands not yet ready to carry the fire. So it waits, not as punishment, but as preparation. It waits until your energy matches your vision, until your being sings the same note as you're asking, until you stop demanding miracles and start embodying the miraculous. And when that day comes, and you will not need to chase the desire, because it will recognize you. It will come to you as a friend long expected. It will say, I've been walking toward you the entire time. I was never lost. You were simply becoming ready. This readiness is not something you build. It is something you allow. It is not forceful. It is faithful. It does not hustle. It harmonizes. It does not manipulate. It magnetizes. And it begins when you stop looking to the outer world to mirror what only your inner world can initiate. Because nothing comes to you that does not first come through you. So clear the channel. Cleanse the lens. Let go of the clutter, mental, emotional, energetic, that keeps your signal from being heard by the intelligence that governs all things. You cannot hold on to fear and still call in abundance. You cannot cling to control and still open to grace. You cannot resent the present and still expect a sacred future. Life will always meet you at the level of your surrender. It will not bypass your resistance. It will not fight through your fear. It waits like the ocean at the shoreline for the moment you decide to step in fully. And when you do, when you release the tightness in your chest and exhale the belief that you must do this all alone, the flow begins. It doesn't rush in, it rises. It rises in your voice, in your silence, in your simple presence, and your life without warning begins to echo the song of your soul. Not because you found the secret, but because you finally stopped resisting it. This is the deepest magic, not in casting spells, but in casting off illusions. Not in asking the world to change, but in awakening to the truth that you are the change. You are not here to chase. You are here to remember. And when you remember, the whole universe remembers you. Then let us stay with this sacred current, allowing each word to arise not from thought, but from the eternal stillness that lives beneath all seeking. For we are not building something new, we are unearthing what was always buried in the silence beneath your striving. As you release the need to prove, to predict, to possess, what emerges is not emptiness, it is space. And in that space, life breathes again. Not the breath of survival, but the breath of creation. You become a womb for possibility, a cradle for the unseen. And it is there, in that surrendered openness, that the seeds of your deepest desires begin to take root. But listen closely, this unfolding is not meant to be rushed. For the universe in all its infinite intelligence does not hurry the sunrise. It does not panic when the tide recedes. It does not doubt that spring will follow winter, and neither should you. The most powerful way to attract what you desire is to trust that it is already on its way, and to live as if you knew this with every fiber of your being. Because when you live in this way, you do not wait, you prepare. You do not beg, you bless. You do not chase, you consecrate the present as holy ground. This is the vibration that shifts reality, not just for you, but through you. When your energy becomes a sanctuary, life responds not as a reluctant giver, but as a joyful partner. It says, here is one who remembers, here is one who trusts, here is one who is ready, not in need, but in knowing. And in this knowing, you stop measuring your worth by outcomes. You stop tying your joy to achievements. You stop bargaining with the moment, saying, I'll be grateful when instead you declare, I am grateful now, and therefore, I am already rich. This shift is not subtle, it is seismic. It is the axis on which the law of attraction truly turns, not by willing the world to change, but by becoming the kind of being who no longer needs the world to change, in order to feel whole. You were never meant to manipulate reality. You were meant to resonate with it. Like a tuning fork calling forth its match, your frequency invites form to follow. Not because you forced it, but because you became a clear note, unwavering, true, and filled with the music of your soul. And so you must tend to your frequency as a sacred garden. You must nourish it with silence, protect it from the weeds of comparison, water it with compassion. Let sunlight in through joy, and let the rains come as they will, knowing even the storm carries nutrients. Because nothing is ever wasted in the economy of spirit. Not the delay, not the detour, not even the ache of waiting. All of it is part of the alchemy. All of it is preparing you to carry what you asked for without collapsing under its weight. What you desire is not being withheld, it is being prepared in you. You think you're waiting for it to arrive, but in truth, it is waiting for you to become the one who no longer needs it, only honors it. And in that sacred maturity, in that quiet rootedness, the desire that once felt like longing now feels like returning. You recognize it not as a gift from outside yourself, but as a mirror of your own expansion. It was never separate. It was always a reflection. And so you rest not in resignation, but in revelation. You rest in the knowing that there is nothing to chase, only everything to welcome. And when your energy says, I am available, the doors you once banged upon gently open. Not because you pushed, but because you finally aligned with the rhythm of their unlocking. You have not been led here to find something new. You have been brought here to remember something eternal. That the most powerful way to attract what you desire is not by becoming more, it is by becoming less entangled. Less caught in the illusion that you are separate, broken, or lacking. Less hypnotized by the noise that says you must earn your way into love, into peace, into wholeness, because you already are. And the journey, this beautiful, aching, radiant journey, has never been about acquisition. It has always been about revelation. It has always been about uncovering the you that was buried under expectation, shame, comparison, and time. You were never meant to create your worth. You were only meant to remember it. And when you do, when you sit quietly in the garden of your own being and recognize that the soil beneath you is sacred, the air around you divine, the breath within you holy, then desire no longer feels like longing. It feels like alignment, like truth rising into form, like the invisible becoming visible because you no longer block its light with your doubt. You are the opening through which your own destiny flows. You are the space in which the infinite remembers itself. And the more you know this not as an idea but as a knowing felt in your bones, the less effort becomes necessary. You do not need to wrestle blessings into existence. You do not need to shout into the void. You only need to trust the intelligence that dreamed you into form. That same intelligence already knows your path. It has prepared every step, every meeting, every miracle, not as a reward, but as a reflection. A reflection of the vibration you carry, the embodiment you become, the truth you dare to live out loud. So bless your life not when it changes, but now. Bless the space between desire and arrival. Bless the not yet, the becoming, the unfolding. For this is where the real transformation lives, not in what you receive, but in who you become while receiving it. And when the thing you desire finally meets you in the field of form, you will not fall to your knees in surprise. You will smile softly. You will exhale knowing it was always on its way. You will say, of course, because it will feel not like winning a prize, but like recognizing a friend you've always known. This is the grace of true attraction, not in the chase, but in the communion, not in the force, but in the flow, not in earning it, but in being it. And so, beloved soul, walk lightly now. Walk not with urgency, but with reverence. Let every step be a prayer, every breath an offering. Let your presence say what your words cannot. Let your life become the embodiment of the very thing you once thought you had to pursue. Because the most powerful way to attract what you desire is to live as if it is already yours, because it is. Not in some far-off future, but in this breath. Not in some separate place, but in this stillness. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. You are not becoming. You are remembering. You are not reaching. You are radiating. You are not waiting. You are welcoming, and all that is aligned with the truth of your being is already on its way, because it recognizes you, because it belongs to you, because it is you. And now,